So,
dude, I've gained 15 pounds since I've come home.
I'm sorry.
Since the summer is ending.
Nice.
It's bad. I'm trying to get back into it.
I am down to 175.
Wow. And then Cosmic flexes on you, follows it up. I'm 175, guys. I'm such a skinny girl.
I'm so much better than you all.
I'm a skinny girl. Sigma 28 to 105 millimeter f2.8 DGD and A is the camera lens that I have. Everyone, welcome back to the podcast.
Damn.
Yeah.
That thing kind of crispy looking. Damn.
What's up, everyone? What's up?
Audio listeners get fucked.
Actually get rolled. You don't get to
I
see
feel
what's
like-
happening here.
I feel like this is the PS5 Pro version of Nestani right now that I'm seeing.
It kind of
Holy
is.
Oh my
crap.
gosh, dude!
Yeah.
I just realized that you're like,
Damn.
you're so crisp, and all of us are just gonna look like we're in like a static machine.
I don't think this is gonna stay, by the way. But
I didn't think
I had
so
to boot it up
either.
at least once, because like I mean,
Oh,
I
yeah.
have it.
You got
I mean,
to for the
I might
culture,
as well
man.
Use it,
Of
you know?
course, yeah.
But my name is Nestani, everyone.
I am Jaxler in 144p, probably.
I'm DECosmic in
Less than
1080p. Yeah, 1080p, bro. If that, like.
Yeah, and I'm Coley at 30 frames per second. I'm NTSC.
I'm also in 30 frames per second too. I think we're all at 30 frames per second. I think we're all in TSC.
I believe I'm 60 seconds. I think I'm 60 frames per second.
Unless you're one of those cinematic people where it's like, I want to be 24 frames
No,
per
fuck
second.
24 frames, bro.
Yeah,
Nah.
exactly. Thank you.
Nah, 30 is just the best.
I
That's
filmed
just
in
the way-
24. I was like, no, I hate that.
Yeah.
No,
That's
I
bad.
agree with you.
Sorry, Mark.
If your frames per
Marquez
second
likes
are like
30. That's his thing.
Oh, does he?
He has
I
the
thought he
30
liked-
FPS
okay.
shirt. No, he says 24. He literally has a shirt
Alright, never
that's
mind.
24 crossed out, 60 crossed out, 30. Like,
This is what happens when I reference
That's
things
so
to the
funny.
true fan, and then I completely get demolished.
you get rolled.
that's
entire
true.
studio
I am a
audience.
true fan. That's why I actually
Damn.
drive down the highway at 96 miles per hour. So
Fair enough.
I don't think you do that.
at least one person
get-
watching gets that joke.
Took me a sec. I got it.
Oh, okay, you got it.
Took me a
Okay,
sec. It took
we're
me
so
a sec,
back.
yeah.
All right, we're gonna open up
Yep,
the show
fair
with a
enough.
rare one. We're just gonna have Jax talk about this video game.
Yeah.
Go
The
ahead.
funny thing is,
Go
like,
ahead.
I just queued back up in the Hearthstone, so I'm not even playing it right now, which is the worst part.
this
But I can still
guy.
talk about it.
Yeah, what was the game?
So it's called Balatro. 90% of audio listeners already probably know what this is, but it is a poker roguelike. So basically, the way it works is you have like a deck of 52, standard playing cards, and you play poker hands to score points. And then you can do stuff like unlock jokers, which give you like multipliers and like point bonuses and shit. And then you can also like, thin your deck down so you're more likely to get certain types of hands. So there's like a whole thing to it. And you get like these number combos and they pop off and then the numbers go up and it makes your brain really, really happy because number go up. So that's like the quick and dirty description of it. I don't even like play card games like that. Well, I guess I play Hearthstone in the background every episode, but like,
By the way,
Now I get
guys,
it.
he's not lying. He actually just
Yeah,
doesn't
I'm
participate in the
literally-
podcast, and he's just like, I'm gonna play Hearthstone until someone mentions Super Mario
Yeah.
64, and then I'm gonna be like,
That is facts, yeah.
unfortunately, he might be spitting the
But
truth.
so it's not like a gambling game. Like
No,
it's not like
so you
real
don't-
money or anything like that.
no,
not a
you
gotcha
don't, you
game.
don't even.
Okay.
No, it's like when you play the cards in your hand, you score. It's like a score attack game more than it is like a gambling sort of thing.
anyone
It's gambling
gamble?
themed because it has like the playing cards and it's has shit like poker hands that you use to score points, but like beyond that, right? That's kind of where the similarities.
That's probably disappointing for a lot of people. Everybody loves gambling nowadays, you know.
I
Yeah.
love gambling. It's actually my favorite thing to do.
Yep.
I'm banned from gotcha
That's-
games, guys. Anytime
You
I
look
play a
so
gotcha
sincere
game,
when you say that.
I spend way too much money, and I just have to stop playing gotcha
Yeah.
games.
Well,
I was
that's
locked in the
lot-
AFK journey fucking rabbit hole for like
Yeah.
4 months. It was not good. I spent like $30 on that game. I
That's
wish
rough,
I had
buddy.
that back.
To me, that's the crazy thing about Balatro is it's like there's no like DLC. There's like it's like a one and done purchase sort of thing, and it's like maybe the biggest game of the year, or possibly one of the biggest games of the generation, with just like how much it has blown the fuck up, which is kind of wild to think about. Like
it's crazy because I barely know what it is.
It's nominated for Game of the Year, and now I understand. You know, it's like I like kind of hated on it a little bit because my friends play it, so therefore it was dog shit.
If it's popular, Jaxler is hating on it. This is tried and true.
But it's actually like fucking really, really good, and I understand now, and I have a problem. So that's great.
I have a problem.
Jaxler discovering that a critically acclaimed thing is critically acclaimed for a reason. Yeah. Perhaps it's just good.
Pain.
Have you ever considered that Super Mario 64 might be good?
Give it a try.
I wouldn't go that far.
Give it a try. Don't you want to play?
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay.
Don't you want to be like the cool kids on the block? Playing that zazzy game?
We don't gotta smoke that Delulu pack, you know what I mean? Like, we don't gotta go that crazy.
Yeah, unless they sell it at a gas station.
What
then
does
maybe.
that even entail?
I didn't like anything that either of you just said, actually, in those 2 sentences in a row. I didn't enjoy either of those.
Wait,
I wanted to make my sentence equally as unpleasant,
really
so I'm glad that I achieved that.
It's Dark Army. This sucks.
It's possible, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Dude,
next episode you're going to be given the masturbation ratings. Next episode.
I'm not going to
clean up on aisle my pants. Yeah.
Oh wait, that actually happened. Jaxler got a record. That's actually way more
I did
interesting
get
than
a record. That did happen.
Bellarino, whatever the fuck it is.
What? Legacy of Kain Soul River. Yeah. So I got Ricky in all bosses. So and.
I love that.
And I'm 3 seconds away from sub hour, so I have to keep playing the game, which is annoying.
Yeah,
sucks.
I love that all I want to say is that, I love that currently the world record for Soul Reaver has Coley and I talking about Star Wars literacy.
For the
Star Wars media list.
We had a great conversation during that run.
It was an excellent conversation.
And then I ruined it.
And I think my favorite part in addition to this is like while we're having this discussion, there's just like random interjections by Nestani going, "I'm the GOAT," and like landing half a trick in Mario 64. Like I'll stop for I'll stop for a second and I'll be like, "Did you hit it?" And he'll be like, no, I did like one of the jumps. And I'll be like, "Oh, sick," and then keep going. And he's like
1/8 of the trick.
I did the movement that I wanted to do. It's fucking hard, bro.
Yeah,
like
that was as soon as I think the best part
minutely
was
correctly.
just you were just like, "I'm the GOAT," and I'm like, "Oh, you did it." No, I just did the movement in the section right. All right, fair enough.
It was like timed perfectly though, where like you would say something about like this story plot was like not a very good idea in my opinion, and then this might be like, no. And then you'd be like, all right, I guess he doesn't agree with Cosmic.
Oh yeah, there was a time where I was
old split, and he'd just be like, "Fuck." I'm like, "What do you mean? I did it good. What are you talking about?"
I remember
a lot of context stuff like that.
I remember distinctly that there was a point where I was like, yeah, people were upset by etc. thing in like etc. piece of media, and Nestani's just like, "No, dude, come on," and I'm like, that's the upset people right there. And it's like this the entirety. I don't think this record will last very long, but it is funny that this is going to be the record for whatever amount of time.
Yeah.
So we get to hear
what did
about
you say
people.
Your gold is. Because you have like a
it's 58,
yeah. You got.
I figured it was going to be a 58 since the previous record holder. What's insane to me too is that like the previous world record holder's sum of best was a 1 hour and 36 seconds, and Jaxler 39 seconds, and Jaxler cleared that by 36 seconds. So like as the PB. So then naturally his sum of best is about 2 minutes faster. And I was like, wow, damn. Just
all these new kids just going to old games and just breaking the records. It's very similar to what Green Suigi did in Super Mario 64.
I don't know, man. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What don't you know? I was
I
that the
can
end of the
hear the
sentence?
windows, like the dial-up
Wow,
sound
my-
or whatever.
okay, hold on. My audio's freaking out. Give me a second.
Freak the freak out.
All right, we're good now. So,
Okay.
I mean, the thing that I was gonna say is that, like, so how old are you, Jaxler?
I'm 26.
He has no
26,
health insurance.
right, yeah.
None. Dead.
Well,
see you.
I was gonna say, to me, it's different when somebody breaks a record like that. If they're not on their parents' health insurance, I feel like that's that's like the old heads, right? Like that to me
Is that the litmus test for whether
that
or
is
not
a
your
litmus
record
test.
is
It's
valid
like
or not?
The litmus
Well,
grand
it's-
pacer test.
it definitely hits a little differently, right? When somebody's just like, oh, I'm et cetera amount of years old and I'm still hitting this shit, and I'm like, okay, but I've been off my parents' insurance for like 8 years, so I'm still out here showing the kids what for. But I can't say that about Jaxler right now. So Jaxler is just a youngin, just breaking records, man. He's gonna come for my DMC stuff soon.
I'm not.
He's gonna come.
That's
I don't
fair.
play top tiers.
DMC is
I
not
play
even
top
top tier. It's like a mid tier, bro. See, your game is only top tier if like the people that meme about it have actually like probably played it. People that meme about DMC have
thanks.
never played the games. Like, well, I'm saying people that meme about my games have never played my games. So
Yeah, like
I'm sure the
too.
people. True. I'm sure the people that meme about the games that you play have actually played them, because there's like 12 people in the world that have played them. So, like, well, except for Soul Reaver, a lot of people have played Soul Reaver, but
I still have never
Yeah.
heard of this game before in my entire life until
They're
Jack
good
started
I never
playing
heard of
it.
this game
They're-
until I
they're
saw
great.
Jax play it, and I
Yeah,
was like, I
yeah.
really like the voice acting in this.
yeah, it's sick. Yeah.
man. Ooh.
That is one of the few games.
Stranger.
That's one of the few games I feel like where watching the cutscenes doesn't like immediately detract from every run, because the dialogue and everything is still pretty good. So
And it's like a free bathroom break, so it's like I don't mind that at all.
that's true. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Is that like they're usually 3 to 5 minutes, right, for every cutscene. So you have enough time to take the bathroom break. Sometimes if it's like a 30-second cutscene, it's like, man, fucking end it all right now. But 3 to 5 minutes, yeah, you can at least get up and get a sandwich or something.
It is really
So
funny
Balatro-
to watch
I literally
Jack
had
just
a
stand
run.
up mid-run.
No, it's funny you say that. I have this on video. I there was a run where I made an entire peanut butter sandwich during the opening cutscene,
Yep,
and then
true.
I
You
started
did.
eating it during the rest of the cutscenes.
Yes,
And I finished it before the run was over.
I remember this.
So good. Now that's what we call
The
a
run didn't finish,
PB.
but I finished the sandwich. So
It was a peanut butter sandwich, right?
yeah, it was just peanut butter. So it was like
Okay,
the
yeah.
most like
So the PB joke holds. All right,
yeah,
sick.
the PB joke does hold
Yeah.
kind of, even though I didn't PB. But
You didn't PB.
That
no,
was
but-
actually kind of a good joke. Like, I exhaled a little bit.
It went over my head, so that's why it's a good
was it-
joke, actually.
Was it out of? Did you exhale out of your nose or your mouth?
His dick hole.
Like
Whoa.
my,
Oh,
Okay, fair
what?
enough. Yeah.
What's that doing? To take an anatomy lesson?
If you got air bubbles in your pipe, that's really bad.
Yeah.
You
I
got
think
some
you
flow
might be
obstruction,
there.
bro. That's bad.
Yeah.
You never
That'll
breathed
fuck up
out
your
the
Don't watch
Listen
this
to
wisdom?
it.
podcast
Holy
for medical
shit.
advice. If you got that, dude, you got to go to the doctor.
You gotta get Jesus.
I need to go to the doctor, or I need to go get Jesus. Which one?
You gotta
Comment
find
down
him,
below.
bro. You gotta find him. I don't know where he went, but you gotta find him, man.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
But no, it was like a kind of, like a little out of the mouth. That sounds
Yeah,
bad
a
out
little-
of context. A little out of the
You
mouth.
breathe
How
a
about,
little out of the mouth.
Somebody help. I need a
Somebody help me
somebody
pivot.
some help.
Okay, you want a help, a lifeline? What's your lifeline?
Yeah, I want to help.
Okay, what
How
do you
was
want help
y'all's
with?
Thanksgiving?
Oh, Thanksgiving?
Yeah. Do we
it
want to
was
talk
like-
about Thanksgiving?
So,
Dude, I've gained 15 pounds since I've come home.
I'm sorry.
Since the summer is ended.
Nice.
It's bad. I'm trying to get stuck into it.
I am down to
just
175.
Wow. And then Cosmic flexes on you, follows it up. I'm 175, guys. I'm such a skinny girl.
I'm so
Oh my
much
God.
better than you all.
I'm a skinny girl.
Well, it's time for me to start
He's
rucking,
not
I
on
guess.
Ozempic. He's
Look,
working
man,
hard.
all I'm saying is, okay.
He's working hard.
Yesterday, my boss hit me up because he was at a different branch, and he's just like, yeah, so I just added a weighted vest to my Amazon cart, and I was like, yes, one of us. So I'm getting more people on the train. You got to join,
on the
bro.
ruck bus.
On the rucking train.
That just sounds bad.
I'm not going to join the tucking train, me personally, but
The tucking train.
My Thanksgiving was pretty good. So this whole month I have not eaten a single inch of sugar besides one crumble cookie because I was weak one night. But everything else,
Having
Caught
one
you
is
lacking one
fine.
night.
Having one is fine.
one is fine. That's the thing, is that it wasn't 2 or 3 like it normally would be. But I ate one, and then it came to Thanksgiving, and then also my birthday party was like right after Thanksgiving, like a couple days after. So what ended up happening is that I ate a piece of pumpkin pie, and then I ate 2 pieces of spice cake, and then 3 days later I ate 5 cinnamon rolls. 5 pumpkin spice cinnamon rolls, and then another piece of cake. And now I've worked out 2 days in a row to bend for my sins. And we're gonna keep that going because we're
gonna keep it going,
reverse the
King.
train
We're gonna keep it going
immediately.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, I can have like a sweet a day, and then I still am feeling pretty good.
I have
mean,
no
you just have to
self-control at all.
That's not fair, but that's well, it's not fair. It's understandable.
It's not fair to you,
yeah. Bro really wanted to say that's a skill issue. I know he wanted to
No,
say
I actually wanted to say
wrong.
that's fair, but it's also not fair because, like,
It sucks for me.
I guess, yeah. It does suck.
It's
yeah,
not fair.
it really
sucks
sucks.
for me.
It is understandable because
it's over.
Sweets definitely just taste good, bro. Yeah.
They do.
The other day, I mean, I was kind of lacking on the calories for the day, so I had to go and buy some. What the hell did I even buy? Oh yeah, I bought some kettle cooked jalapeno chips. That shit was good. It's been like a year since I had them shits. It's crazy how when you don't work at a retail store anymore, you just have, since you have less convenient access to snacks all the time, you just do it less.
Well,
I am
one of the
I'm
best
enthralled
ways
by
to,
your
that I
camera
lost
quality,
weight was
by the
just
way.
not buying the bad food. Like
That's
not
fair.
even
Pretty much, yeah.
make it an option. So
Literally, like the whole thing of this month of me losing weight was me doing 2 things. One, stop drinking coffee, and 2, stop eating desserts, because like I would drink coffee a lot, which is like 200 to 400 calories depending on what I get.
Yeah.
Like every other day.
Yeah.
And it's just like honestly, if you're trying to lose weight, like liquid sugar is like the death. Like cut out coffee, cut out soda, eat normal. Everything else, just eat normal. Just cut out the liquid sugar, and
Water.
you will plummet your
Water
weight
is
on
peak.
God. And like I forgot about that until like this month, and then I immediately stopped drinking coffee, and then I immediately started losing weight. The previous 6 months, I wasn't really losing that much weight. It was like a very slow decline, and then now I've lost like 20 pounds.
That's what's up, dude. Hell yeah.
Well, I probably gained a little bit back this past weekend, but like,
yeah, it's fine.
it's fine because we're gonna detox again until Christmas, and then I'm gonna be slamming it in Christmas.
That's fair. Yeah. These sparkling ice plus caffeine things, they only have 5 calories in them as well, so that's pretty all right.
I'm a LaCroix fiend, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, so you enjoy the water that tastes like someone next to you is thinking real hard about a piece of fruit.
Yeah, I love the fruity essence of that.
Yeah, they specifically
water.
have Aphantasia as well. So
I
it's
like to just do no calorie body armor or like 0 calorie Powerade or
just
Gatorade
like
or something
water.
like that.
Yeah,
But it's
LaCroix
like,
dude, body
water,
armor?
drinks
gum.
with calories in them are just
Those
the death
help.
sentence for me because of my diabetes. So it's like it's usually just not worth for me.
Skill issue.
Stick with the water.
Do you remember when body armor was like hella bad? Like before they changed their formula? Yeah, that company used to be dog shit, dude.
Yeah,
and
I
then,
mean, they've only like been good for the past 2 years because I didn't know they existed.
Yeah.
In the prior 2 years before.
Yeah, I think it was a thing of like
thinking of the right company.
The Canada Dry company actually bought them and then helped them like reformulate their drinks. And then in the last 2 years, like you said, they suddenly got really good as like a decent competitor to Gatorade.
Yeah.
And now like I think Canada Dry helped them go from like 50,000 or something or 500,000 to like a multi-mill or multi-bill company. Canada Dry is pretty good about that. It's weird though because like they're one of the smaller soda companies, but they buy up these even smaller companies to distribute their drinks, and they'll help like build them up, and then they just sell them off, and it's like
It's surprising.
Yeah.
When you find out what companies own other companies and stuff like that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
That's
how they're
always, like,
all
super
owned by
shocking
like
to
the
me.
same 3 megacorps.
Yeah, they're all owned by like Pepsi. It's all owned pretty much by like Pepsi, Coke, Canada Dry. And what's really strange is that like, although for example, Dr. Pepper is always pretty much distributed by Coke drivers, sometimes they're not on the same sales because like, well, it's like, I think it's like it's always distributed by either Pepsi or Coke. Yeah, but it's like they're sometimes not on the same sales because I think Dr. Pepper's like either part of Pepsi or it's part of Canada Dry. But for some reason, sometimes it's delivered with Coke.
I think they're on their own, but they have like they made some deals with the big guys upstairs, the polar bears up at Coca-Cola, you know.
And then it just depends by region
box and stuff. When I worked at a movie theater, like if nobody's ever worked in food, like at a soda spire where you get your sweet liquid.
I guess he's not wrong.
At the soda
you
spire
are getting literal sweet
getting
liquid.
the sweet liquid.
Your nectar.
It is accurate.
It comes in. It's like a bag of syrup in a box, and then there's just all these tubes that hook up to it, and then the syrup goes with the carbonated water to make it pop. But the Dr. Pepper one was always in like a completely different box than all the rest of them. So it was like I was like, something's up here. And then I think my manager explained it to me, but I was like, I don't really like you because you don't pay me enough, so I'm just not going to listen to you. And I guess
people have been saying this. Yeah.
Now this fun fact is just a guess.
I was wondering why
It's just
you
a
all
fact.
knew this, and then I realized that both of you worked in a place where you have to deal
worked
with
in
soda.
retail.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those things that like when you're there long enough, right, you start kind of just talking to the vendors and everything, and then you end up learning some cool shit. So, and it's like, I guess cool is subjective, but it's interesting
Really
nonetheless.
cool.
So, yeah.
Objectively cool.
The first few
Is it
months
like-
you work in retail, it's like, fuck all this shit. Like, you just don't really care. And then once you're in there for a while, it's like, well,
For 10
I might
years.
as well. Yeah. Don't remind me.
Whatever you engage with will become engaging. That's kind of how it
pretty
works.
much. Yeah.
Not to confuse
Yeah.
with Engage 8, the Madden NFL play.
Or Fire
No one
Emblem
was
Engage.
confusing it with that.
Anybody rooting for Lions this year? Detroit? Lions?
No.
We're the top in the conference, man. All right, sorry. I just had to say that once. This
I'd
is the
be
only time I ever watched
lying
football in
if
my
I said
life.
I was rooting for them.
I hate football.
All right.
Fair enough. So Thanksgiving. Anybody have any cool Thanksgiving stories as party pooper Captain leaves over there?
I mean, I already said that all I did Thanksgiving was eat a bunch of food. So
Okay,
I think it's
fair
you and
enough.
Cole that haven't answered.
Yeah, I don't have
Oh.
a great answer either because it was just we were talking about family stuff. So
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, that's kind of how.
So
it
I
was
guess you
for
could
me.
answer your own
It's
question,
like,
Cosmic.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Don't make me do that.
Come on, you got it.
anything
Go
but
ahead.
that, dude. Do I?
Yeah,
Do I have it?
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's fair.
you're the one who's fielding the question, so I assume you have an answer for the question that you're fielding.
I don't really. My Thanksgiving was pretty quiet, so it's like I went over to my parents' house, and then like we had food, and we had chicken, I should say. We didn't have turkey because turkey is not that great, and I wish we could, as a society, embrace that turkey is a low tier protein in terms
Turkey
of
is
taste.
good when
our
prepared
turkey was
correct.
so dry too, and it wasn't like
Yeah.
anyone like because
Damn, yeah.
we ended up
You people
doing
don't know how to cook,
turkey
that's
like
crazy.
like my mom didn't cook the turkey this year. She like basically got it like pre-cooked.
Frying
'cause
a turkey is the best way to eat a turkey.
That
I've
is a good
tried
way.
So far.
Yeah.
That's
That's fair.
Frying is
And it's
pretty tough
faster.
here. It is, yeah.
I don't know, man.
My
Chicken
brother
is so top tier, though.
Fried turkey last year, really fucking good. And he also smoked the ham last year, also good. Smoked the ham this year, also fire. And then my mom made the turkey this year, which was also fire because she cooks it properly with like seasoning, and it's like juicy and really good. We know how to cook, basically, is what I'm saying, and that
With
you
like
all don't.
ingredients and stuff. Wow, that's crazy.
My family,
We know what we're
doing.
doing.
We know what we're doing.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. To me, it's like a personal thing. Like, no matter who cooks the turkey, I'm just kind of like, whatever, dude. Like, I never find myself wanting turkey on a regular basis. And I feel like most people don't want turkey on a regular basis either. So I'm like down
That
for...
might be I just have turkey sandwiches a lot, so maybe I'm just...
I like
okay.
turkeys, like deli meat and stuff. So I
Yeah.
think that's fine. I think
Maybe it's just
I think the
most
bigger
people that I
argument is
interact
just
with.
to say that its macros are terrible.
That's fair. I actually didn't know about any of the health value
I just know
benefits of it.
Turkey is
so.
pretty good for you.
Yeah.
That's
why
fair.
you
Oh
like-
yeah,
you
it's definitely
like
better
turkey
than
bacon,
Macros, dude.
like,
Nah,
you
you
know.
Turkey
gotta eat
bacon,
chicken,
yeah,
man.
I was
You
gonna
want that
say, yeah.
protein. You got that.
I mean, chicken is
keto-
better than it for like the macros, but
How many grams of
it's
protein are in
also pretty good in comparison to like beef and pork.
Yeah.
That's just because red meat is just smile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had
good. Chicken's great. Chicken's goated. Chicken's my goat.
chicken is the top. Yeah,
I thought
chicken's
Jimmy
definitely
John's
S
is your
tier.
goat.
Nah, they just don't give you enough food for what you pay for.
That's
It's
fair.
mostly bread. It's better than Subway, but
Suwo
you know,
I don't know,
boy.
man. I definitely would stop at a Subway before Jimmy John's, but it's also
I
been
would
about
Why does
15
Google
years.
have an entire built-in thing on their browser for any kind of turkey to show how much protein it has? There's a whole menu.
That's crazy.
Any kind
Did
of
y'all
turkey.
hear? Did y'all hear about the shit with Google, by the way, where like the Department of Justice is recommending that they sell off Google or Google Chrome, and then they're not allowed to enter the browser
Yeah, that's
business for like
that was
another
Oh, I
5
heard
years?
about that.
That's what the
One of the
lawsuit was
antitrust
about.
things, right?
No, it's
yeah.
their monopoly lawsuit is why that's
Yeah, monopoly,
And so
yeah.
they're
That's what I
breaking
meant,
up their
yeah.
monopoly by forcing them to sell Chrome.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they were forced to sell Chromium specifically, which is the basically like Chromium is the code that Chrome is built on, that
Yeah.
Opera is built on, that Arc is built on, etc. Pretty much every browser is built on Chromium besides like Firefox and a couple others.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're gonna have to sell Chromium or just Chrome. I don't feel like fact checking, so I'm not going to. But that is the lawsuit, and we'll see if that happens by 2035.
Hopefully.
Wow.
Wait, damn, 2035?
The legal system moves really fucking slow. That was the joke.
Yeah.
It's true.
That was the
Yeah.
joke.
It's
It's
true.
the same way why like Apple's getting their lawsuit sued or whatever the fuck, and then like nothing's gonna change for like 10 years, and they're just gonna be like, okay. It's also just kind of weird to sell Chrome as well, be forced to sell Chrome, because it's just like,
Like what? Yeah.
yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like, does it really change anything? I mean, I guess like the angle is that like, oh, since you install Chrome, Google can push their own like Google Drive and Google
Yeah, they
Photos
can.
and all that stuff to you in a very streamlined way, versus like if you were on a different browser, you have to do one extra step to go to Google's shit, right? And that's kind of what they're targeting, is really just like pretty much the Google Drive sales, because that's probably where a lot of their money comes from, is people buying Google Drive.
Probably.
I buy Google
think
Drive, for
it's-
example. Yippee!
Yeah.
I think it's definitely like something, worth kind of going to bat over, right? To kind of try and move more people away from Chrome. But I also feel like at this point, there are just a lot of alternative browsers that people should probably just be encouraged to use more.
And also Chrome
like,
sucks.
That is true.
Ram
Chrome
Monster.
does suck.
I literally
Yeah.
switched off Chrome this
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, because you literally
Yeah.
messaged me and I was like, use Firefox. Trust.
Yeah,
Firefox is good.
and now I can run Premiere a little bit better. Than before.
Firefox is the GOAT. It's just really good.
Mm-hmm.
I switched over to Brave.
Yeah. The only problem with Brave is that it's still a Chromium based browser, but it is a pretty good browser as well.
Yeah, it at least does the fucking tracker and ad blocking and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True,
like,
because
cool.
but it won't do that for very long, because uBlock is getting blocked from all Chromium based browsers.
Yay.
see it.
everyone use Firefox. You can still use your ad blocker. Yeah, that is happening. I don't know when it's happening.
It's because of like,
yeah.
Dude, that's just crazy, man. Like, God. Like the fucking YouTube thing where they're like, if you don't get rid of your ad blocker right now, you're not watching anything. And then they were like,
yo, remember that thing that YouTube ran for like maybe like 3 months or whatever, where if you had an ad blocker on, like on desktop specifically, it would just lag the whole site really hard and made it like almost impossible to use. And then you would turn off the ad blocker and then it would just work instantly.
Magically work again.
Do you all remember that? Because I remember that shit.
I love capitalism.
I was just like, that's dog shit. And then I bought YouTube Premium and I was like, this is way better in every single way. Honestly, if you want if you watch a lot of YouTube, the biggest quality of a life improvement is YouTube Premium. It's just not close. Like, it's just, it's actually so busted broken. Like, because before I would always watch every single YouTube video on desktop, and then you know what I would do is I would watch the first ad, skip to the end, watch the last ad. It would nuke all the ads in the video, and then I would rewind it. And let me tell you, you fucking save so much more time if you just don't do that, and you just like pay the fucking like $15 a month, and it's just like, it's just so OP. Versus like paying something like fucking Netflix. Like what are you doing? What are you doing? Also, Twitch Turbo, also extremely broken. I don't have that because my ad box works, but I don't know why it does.
I have Twitch Turbo, and that shit is broken.
It's just a lifesaver.
Yeah, and also Twitch Turbo is only like $10, so if you watch a lot of Twitch, also
it's actually more now. I think, isn't it?
Oh, did they up it to 12?
I think it's like 13 now or something like that. 12 or 13.
I would.
Twitch annoys me. God, I just don't even want to give them a dime.
I mean, yeah, me too. That's why I'm just glad that I still don't get ads. I can't tell but the thing is that like, okay, so I have a theory. The reason I don't get ads is because I have Amazon Prime, but the thing is they removed that thing.
Yeah, they did.
From the cloud.
Yeah, they did.
And so I should have ads again.
Issues.
I still don't get ads though.
So you basically just don't want to fuck with it. Essentially,
I mean, yeah, I don't know why I don't get ads.
Don't fix what isn't
broken. The thing is, I think I get ads on my phone though, like on the regular Twitch browser, I get ads. But like on any browser with like ad block plus like Amazon Prime, apparently I just skip the ads. I don't know. But also on my phone, I just use Purple TV, which is an APK that blocks all the ads on Twitch.
Yeah, I use Purple TV as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's great,
dude.
I love using things that are not Apple devices so that you can pirate.
That's true, dude. Twitch. Does Twitch just give you like 8 ads in a row that are 30 seconds each? So then it's like, oh, well, if you had Turbo, then you wouldn't have to sit through this or whatever. Like, is that the thought process? Because the thought process for me,
they do it because they have to make money.
Yeah, they're super in the red. That's the problem.
Different way. Oh my god. Because you know what I do when I see 1 out of 8 ads? When I see 1 out of 8 ads, I'm like, all right, I'm just not even watching. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Nope.
That's
not
exactly
doing it. Yep.
Yeah, the thing is that they just can't make money because Twitch as a platform is just really dog shit at making money, because with live streams specifically, like ads are so intrusive because of the nature of live streaming, where if an ad pops up, you're missing part of the action, right? Because the difference with like YouTube videos or TikToks or Insta Reels is that you're watching the video and then like you scroll on TikTok and then you get an ad, right?
Yep.
And it doesn't interrupt the actual content itself. Even on YouTube, it doesn't really interrupt the content itself, especially since you can also on YouTube you can adjust where the ads are placed, so you can place them in better spots. For example, like at my work we do like long form concert videos, so like we'll put the ad breaks on our channel in between songs, right? So it's not obtrusive, so you're not like in the middle of like the bridge going into the final chorus and then, hey, want to break from the ad?
Exactly.
You don't want any of that shit.
Yeah.
And so with Twitch, though, there's just no way to do ads well. Like, I think pre-rolls are the best, but it's also like kind of the worst, because half the time when you're clicking on a stream, you want to see what's happening right away. You know, if you're a fan of speedrunning, maybe you hear someone's on pace and you're like, oh, I want to go see like the pace run or whatever the fuck, or like an event's going on, and then you're like, oh, I want to see what's happening. Like, because a lot of things on Twitch, especially nowadays, are circled around events, or like you click on to see something specific right away. And so if you get to see it right away, then it's just like the ads. It's just bad.
Want a break from the ads?
Does Twitch not do like window ads or anything like that? Like I know YouTube does it, where it's like
they have like these audio ads sometimes on certain channels where it like mutes the stream audio and then has like almost like a radio ad on in the background.
Yeah, and it's like picture in picture, and you can like still see the stream, but you're hearing it.
Yeah,
you can't see that.
Okay, I know what.
Yeah. Which is like a better solution, and then also like lower thirds. But the problem with like lower thirds is that they pay dog shit. Like you don't really make money off of lower thirds because you don't get nearly as many conversions as a full ass ad, right? So
yeah. I mean, I don't even think that there's been anything as intrusive as that kind of ad, like leading up to this point either, because even stuff like sports games, right? There is usually like a pause in the action because they know they're going to go to commercial break.
But that's the thing
as well,
is that
right?
There's a pause. There's a pause in the game, so you're not missing the content. With
it's not
streaming,
intrusive. Yeah,
there's nothing to pause. Like I guess maybe it's on the streamer to pause their content and be like, we're taking an ad break. Boom. I know that's kind of what Hassan does. I think because I think he does.
There's a lot of people that do that
at the top of the hour, and so
when
that happens, I don't know if he just stops doing what he's doing or if he pauses or whatever. I don't watch Hassan, but I know that he does that.
Is it like part of like like the contract or whatever for like verified streamers to be like, you have to have this many?
Now it is, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. For certain big streamers, the number is up or down. They are required to run a minimum of a certain amount, though. Like all partners are, I think. Like if you are a partner, I'm pretty sure every single one is minimum required to run. I don't know the number because I'm not a partner. But like even like affiliates, like you can either turn your ads off completely, or like you have like a minimum of like 30 seconds per hour that you can set it to. But I don't think Twitch partners get to turn off ads.
Yeah, I don't believe so.
Pretty sure you signed the partner agreement, and I'm not 100% certain on that though. That is not. I'm not super confident on that.
Yeah, I'd have to check, but I'm really not certain myself.
For the bigger streamers, they definitely have to run a specific amount of ads, right? So I just don't know if it's necessarily for every single partner. Like if you're like a fucking 100 viewer Andy, I don't know if you have to run a specific amount of ads, but Pokimane definitely has to run a specific amount of ads. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like, unless they have like a specific deal where they don't have to run that many ads, right? It just depends. It's all kind of just this. It depends streamer by streamer. It's just because and they also change it like every 3 months, so it's hard to keep up. It's just a shit show.
Yeah.
This is why streamers diversify outside of streaming, because
they have to, basically.
Yeah, I mean you have to because it makes your streaming shit go better, but like also it's just like not.
I mean, is streaming on YouTube like good?
Not.
I think probably for events
really
it is. But the people that come to YouTube are not really looking for consistent live streaming.
Yeah. Like if you're doing event-based stuff, like Ludwig's YouTube streams typically do very well because he's normally streaming a Melee event, or he's streaming like the Olympic streamer games or whatever the fuck he did. But like I don't even think Ludwig streams much on YouTube besides to do those events now. I'm pretty sure he's back on Twitch.
Mostly just content.
Yeah. I think he does his regular content on Twitch now, and then like events only on his YouTube channel. Because YouTube,
as far as I know too,
curated content, right?
As far as I know too, like, so typically for Twitch streams, right, as it goes on, viewership goes up. But then for YouTube, it's typically the opposite, where you will have a lot of people at the start of the stream, and then things will kind of slowly taper off.
Yeah.
During live streams.
Because YouTube you're used to just scrolling through shit.
Yeah, and it's also, it's the same with even regular videos on YouTube, right? Most people will watch a few minutes of a video and then click off of it if it's long.
Well, that's like a few seconds, but
I just want to say it's kind of crazy to me, like that concept, because normally whenever I click on a YouTube video,
very strange to me.
I normally watch like the full thing.
Same.
Like,
yeah.
There's a very rare case where I will click on something and then just immediately click off because I clicked on it, right? I just won't click on it if I don't want to watch it.
Yeah.
Right?
Same, yeah.
And so it's so strange that like it's so many people that just click on a YouTube video and then just get tired of it and just like leave. Like in less than 30 seconds, I'm like, did you accidentally click on it? Like what? Like what's going on? There's no way this many people intentionally just have fucking turbo TikTok brain, because this has been going on before TikTok was a thing, right?
I feel like, and I was getting the notion of this a little bit with kind of the conversation we were having during my Soul Reaver record, is just that I feel like the four of us kind of consume content not very much like other people do, if that makes like what you said, where you just watch the whole damn video, and if you don't want to watch the whole video, you just don't click on it.
Yeah,
like that's I feel like, and I run into this problem a lot where, you know, in media studies, we talk about something called the medium is the message, where it's the medium in which ideas are expressed that ultimately dictates what can be said and how it can be said, rather than like any one story or any one idea or message you could get across, right? And something I've always kind of noticed with YouTube a bit, Twitch a bit, Shorts especially becoming as popular as they are, is like the stuff that I really want to see or watch, like there isn't, like the medium isn't as like, not like put out in the mainstream, but as like put out into the forefront, if that makes sense. And maybe that's just because I don't quite know what it is. So I'm losing my train of thought a little bit, but I feel like sometimes some of the trappings of what you have to do to make YouTube videos work or streaming work kind of limits and like funnels content in a specific direction, and that direction isn't necessarily things I'm interested in doing, exploring, seeing, stuff like that. And I kind of wonder how things would open up. I don't know if it...
Well, then my question is, what do you want to see? Because I don't really get what you're referring to.
Yeah, are you saying that the algorithm or whatever just isn't like pushing out videos that you want to see? Or
this might be one of the, like me and Cosmic were arguing back and forth about. This might be a completely emotional argument, but I really want to see shit where people like critically engage with shit and be like really authentically enthusiastic about shit. And I feel like, and we were talking about this the other day, is I feel like in some ways sincerity is dead, especially in our generation. And I feel like in some ways, like we were talking a bit about irony poisoning a little bit as well, and how things have to be drenched in like 30 layers of irony. And it's just like, I don't know if that's just what I get, but I just see it a lot in the... I fucking activated the camera.
Get on.
It's all good, man. We can see more of the pig. He's chilling.
Yeah.
You know?
And you know what?
What is he doing on that mic?
He's just sitting there.
Whoa.
Let him sit, bro. He fits, therefore he sits.
We're going to have a field day with Jax's audio on this one, ladies and gentlemen. It's over for me.
It's super.
I mean, you could probably use less volume from me anyway, but that's besides the point. I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of jumbling all over the place, but
so like I'm just gonna.
Yeah, you can hop in if you want.
Okay, so
or we could,
basically, like, I understand the widespread notion of like playing the game in a sense, right? Because shorts makes you make your video in a certain way where you're attention grabbing, your quick cuts, right? You're making it in a certain way. Granted, everything's kind of quick cuts now, right? But even like YouTube videos, generally they're following roughly the same like structure, especially like at the beginning of videos. Like if you click on so many different channels, you'll see like text pop up for like the first like 30 seconds of the video, and then the text will just leave, right? You'll have subtitles for the first 30 seconds, and then like they'll just dip out because that's the retention moment, right?
Yeah,
and so they
I want to be clear as well.
Go ahead.
Certain patterns get repeated because it's good storytelling. Like I don't want to like just like completely discard like shit that gets, because like, you know, we were saying earlier is popular shit is popular for a reason, right? So, and back to your point though, sorry.
Yeah, I mean that was just kind of like the almost end of it was basically just like you do end up funneling your content in a certain way, especially as the trends change. Like even widespread changes, it kind of seeps into like all different areas. Like, for example, like I watch a lot of like streaming gaming content, right? But that like thing at the beginning of the videos that I was talking about with the text rapid for the first 30 seconds, that happens in a Joshua Wiseman video, which is a cooking video about like food and shit. And it also happens in a Cutie Cinderella video. You know what I mean? It's just like, so like you are kind of forced to make your content, not forced, but you are incentivized to make your content in a certain way so that it is more likely to pop off and go viral, because that's what everyone's trying to do, right? And I guess like my question to you is that like, do you think people aren't being authentic with how they make their YouTube videos? Because you can be authentic while also following the formula. For example,
I think some people can be, yeah. Like, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, for example, like the way that I make our shorts is fairly authentic to, I mean, not really, because I fucking hate
we just
making
go
shorts.
that fast.
Yeah, but it's fairly authentic to what we are doing on the podcast, right? And even like, and I would say like certain creators like Marcus Brownlee, for example, Jerry Rig, everything, these are very intentional creators, and they are fairly authentic. They might not be the most authentic, but they feel pretty authentic. Like Cutie Cinderella also feels pretty authentic. There's a lot of authentic creators, so that's more what I'm aiming to you is like, why don't you think these people are authentic, or who are you referring to, or like...
So to paint a little bit of a better picture, I think what I'm trying to delineate between is I don't care so much as I want to perceive the authenticity in the content that is delivered to me, because at the end of the day, that is the flavoring of the content. If you look at it, you know, kind of cynically, I think more so, this is more of an empathy thing where it's like, in a way, I kind of feel bad for certain types of creators where they kind of have to fit in a box a little bit more. And I think that just sucks. I don't know. Like, I'm sure that's not the case for everybody. I'm sure some people are more okay doing that if they have like, you know, like other aspects of their lives, right? But like, I don't know.
I mean, that's the thing with content creation, is that a lot of it is like, once you get some success and once you do that, that's your audience, right? And so they expect that from you, right? Like if you're making review videos, you should keep making review videos if they start popping off. If you make a channel about fucking Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights, and then a Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights video randomly does really well, and then you start doing other old game videos because like, oh, maybe Nostalgia Bait is good, and then you start doing more Nostalgia Bait, and then you find more success, you're technically doing what you're saying, which is like sticking yourself in a box, but that's the way that it is. But also, you could also enjoy being in that box, right?
You know, and you know what? And as you're saying that, I think I start to see where I feel the friction a little bit. I am not, and this is where my personal biases come into play. I'm not someone who can stick in one box the whole time. Like, I can't run just one game. I can't just do one type of thing. I am very much a jack of all trades, master of none. And so I think that's where I see the friction is maybe just for me personally, it's a personality conflict. Because, you know, I feel like how do I put this? Like, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but it's like, in a way, it's like I'm not maximizing my potential if I'm not pushing myself in like a lot of areas, right? So, you know, kind of like this conversation we've always had where I've like, you know, I feel like so many speedrunners are holding themselves back by only speedrunning one game.
By playing Scooby-Doo Night
by
of 100
playing
Frights
just Mario
and
or just
not
Sunshine
Mario
or just
64.
You want
I'm holding myself
speedrunners
back.
to be like polymaths,
A little
basically.
bit.
Polymaths,
But
yeah.
I want people to be multidimensional because I think everyone to a degree contains multitudes, and you know.
Actually, I want to throw this to Cole.
Me Maybe it's just me. I'm probably just projecting a lot here, and that's cool.
I mean, I think
I
that's
gotta
like,
say,
like with
this
not sticking in a box is kind of what I want to throw to Cole, because I've heard him say that to me.
I mean, this
a
is
lot.
something I've been grappling with for a long time, because I had the Frights video blow up, and I was like, oh, well, should I keep doing Scooby stuff? But I don't really want to be known as just the Scooby guy.
Scooby guy, yeah.
And I've thought a lot about it, and I think it really comes down to when it comes to you being on the internet, your identity is a box, but it's a humongous, infinite box where there's so many different things in there. It's ridiculous. Like, I love drawing and writing and like creating. I like making videos, but I also like playing guitar. I'm into media production. I was in theater. I'm into just all these games and stuff. There's so many different elements about me. I'm in this big box, but that big box, it's hard to attract an entire crowd of people when there isn't a focused point on it. And so you got to start small. So my first box, the box can always grow. The box never has to stay exactly where it is. Sometimes it won't grow right away. Some people get lucky and it does grow right away, or they play their cards right. But
they pick a top tier.
My first box was Scooby. It was a little box. And then you just got to keep growing outward and outward and outward. But and the way that the box grows is that the subject matter has to kind of correlate with one another. So like talking about Scooby, okay, what about games that the other developers made for that game? What about games that released on the same year, the same consoles? How about the same like development studio in general? Like, and you just keep growing out and out and outward. And eventually, and it takes a lot of fucking effort, but eventually you can reach out, and some people have done it to such an extent that their whole box is interesting to people. Because that's how you start. That's how you have.
Yeah, because at some point
grow.
it becomes a personality-driven thing rather than
exactly.
Just
and I think that's where, like, that's why people love somebody like Jaden Animations or any kind of animated storyteller. It's like their personality is just so, you know, they're very friendly and empathetic, and you can relate to them, and then you attach to them because it's like, man, this feels like a friend. It's a weird one-sided relationship.
It's parasocial. Yeah.
But it's like,
parasocial.
You know, it's like, it's kind of like a bond. And that's where sincerity can build if I'm using that term in the correct way. But the thing about YouTube and creating things in any kind of medium is that there's always these waves of interest that people go through. Like for every like pop star, hard rock, whatever of the 80s, then there comes the counter where there's like punk and indie rock trying to say like, this is how music is supposed to be kind of thing. I don't know if that's the best example or if I even said the right genres or decades. But the point is that there's always like what's at the forefront, but then there's always people saying like, I don't like this thing. And then there's an audience to be like, yeah, I don't like this thing either. Like, let's rebel a little bit and try something different. And I feel like that this happens all the time in YouTube as well. One of the channels that just comes to mind that I remember blew up so fast about a year ago, and it probably was famous before that, but that's when it caught my eye, was there's this guy, his channel's called Outdoor Boys YouTube channel, and he has a really interesting story, but his videos are just him with a GoPro in the middle of Alaska camping. Like, and I mean, it's an extreme scenario. So, I mean, granted, maybe that's similar to like, you know, YouTube's always have to have weird, crazy, extreme topics to grab the interest of the people. But like, he doesn't subtitle things unless like he's speaking another language or something. But it's just him, and it's just sequentially just showing the footage right then and there. Like, there's a lot of footage where he just doesn't talk. There's a lot of footage where it's just like him doing something normal as shit, just like eating on a log. Like it's just there for like progression purposes and things like that. That's the biggest example, but you know, there's always people that are doing something different and it will capture their attention as well. I think that's just how mediums work. And I'm not saying this to discredit anybody's opinion on the platform. You can have whatever opinion you want. And I think it's a good thing that you have your opinion, because YouTube, anybody who does YouTube and YouTube itself wants people to watch their stuff. So hearing people's thoughts about what videos they want to see and are out there, they're going to go for that because that's what they want. They want the audience to see the things that they create. And yeah, I mean, I've seen YouTube kind of pay attention to this a little bit too. I don't know if anybody else has ever noticed this, but on my homepage, I just see like a video with 300 views. I'm like, what the fuck is this doing on my homepage? Yep. What?
You'll get one of those every once in a while.
Where they're like, there's some times where I'm like, you know what? This video only has 300 views. Like, I'm clicking on this. Like, if there's this random video that nobody's watched, like, I gotta see what's going on with it. Like, I feel like that there is some kind of push to be like, let's try and diversify what's out there. And I don't know. I don't know if it'll get better. I don't know if it'll get worse. I don't know if I've even answered the question or if I've even contributed to the specific topic at hand.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know, working on YouTube has really just made me think about my identity as a whole, really, because I want to create for a job, but I've also questioned, like, should I sacrifice my that's something right now. I have to think about, like, I have a video plan that's going to come out on Friday, but I don't know what I'm doing after that really yet.
Yeah.
And so I need to figure out a balance between, like, what are things that I enjoy creating, but I also want to make sure that this is successful, because I could give an entire boring ass video about frights and how, like, some stupid shit in, like, Cellar 2 works and nobody's going to give a fuck. But it's like,
yeah, because it's Cellar 2, dumbass. But,
yeah. But I just thought that was the first level that came to my head. But, so,
sorry, that was a little harsh on Cellar 2. My bad,
it's this
Cellar
weird
2
balancing
fans.
act. No, you're all good. It's just this weird balancing act that you have to play as a creator. And, I don't know, sometimes you can get away with not playing with the balancing act, and sometimes you can't.
Kind of to what you were saying with how being on the internet and making content has led you to discover a lot about yourself. I feel for me, it's caused me to realize how much I don't relate to a lot of people, if that makes sense. Like, this feels like a really weird thing to say, but I just don't get a lot of people, if that makes sense. And this, I'm neurodivergent, so that's definitely part of the equation. But it's just like, consistently, like, time and time again in my life, I've, like, always kind of taken the interest in, like, the other path, or, like, the not well, like that one Robert Frost pop.
The path less traveled.
The path less traveled, yeah.
I know that one. We did a whole this is a side tangent. We did a whole thing in high school. We did a show around that anyway, like a marching band show. A marching band like show. Yeah, that was
a marching band show. Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, like, if that's like a play or a musical, I'm like that. I have to watch that car crash. Holy shit. That would have been the worst fucking idea.
It was marching band. It was like a section of, like, the whole show. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Marching band, that makes more sense.
That's the only reason I know the quote, though, because I repeated it 1,000 times.
Could you imagine how bad a fucking Robert Frost musical would be? I think he would actually just, like, I'd say roll around in his grave, but dude's from, like, Maine or something, so he'd probably just roll around in the snowdrift he was buried in or something like that. But, like, I don't know.
Damn.
I don't know. It's.
Can I ask part of this?
Yeah, go for it.
Well, sorry. Well, I guess I'll just ask my question. Do you think it's a bad thing that you don't relate to people, or do you think it's just a fact? Like, it's just like, well, this is just something. I mean, that I accept it.
I mean, there's two. For one, I mean, it is just a fact, but I think there's two sides to that coin, right? Where it's I don't feel like I understand most people, and then by that same token, I feel like most people don't really get me, and that can be really isolating. So,
okay,
it's like I don't feel insecure about the fact that I'm pretty out there, weird, bizarre. I care about fucking Neopets, the Darkest Story, like whatever personality, like, because that is me, and I like me,
Yeah.
I don't think I completely suck, although I'm sure on some days Nestani would beg to differ. But, it's like...
No, I was just going to say that's crazy to like yourself, but continue.
Yeah, well, I mean, in some ways, there's a lot of things.
Good for you. Proud of you.
There's a lot of things I don't like about myself, but there's some things, and I got to give myself some credit, or else I'll just fucking shoot myself. But so coping. But it's isolating. It's hard to find your people when you can't always identify if they're your people or not, and it's just sometimes this is not worth the effort. I don't know. This got really deep. I'm sorry. Should we talk about getting run over by traffic again? I don't know. I should probably.
Do you need to have to relate to someone? Is that like a need of yours? Or
I think it's helpful personally. I don't know about you, Jax, but if you want,
to connect with another person, do you really have to understand them? Is kind of like my line.
Getting philosophical.
It creates a barrier for me, and maybe that's just for me. I don't want to act like it's a universal rule for everybody, but if I have a hard time understanding them and like it can be hard for me to connect with them. I mean, that was me with you for a little bit, or for a while, honestly, Nestani, because I just didn't really have a good read on you, or really an understanding of like where you came from in terms of your values or culturally. And as I spent more time with you, I gained that knowledge, right? And so now I feel like we're a lot closer, but it's like it was tough, right? And so I don't know. I don't want to. I hate being that person, because my brother's like this, where he's like, "Oh, my experience is this, therefore everyone else must feel the same way," and that's just not the fucking truth, right? So I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to say too that Jax kind of brought this up, yesterday, really juxtaposed to the GDQ second submission period. And I don't know if you were dancing around the issue, but I'm not going to. So here we go.
Okay.
Because
that's my goat right there.
You mean what you were saying basically was you didn't like how you felt the second submission period sort of continued to set people up for success that were already set up for success in terms of the games of the communities. Right. And obviously, I don't think you're discrediting anybody. I think anybody that knows you knows you're not trying to, what's it called? Say that these people don't deserve to be on the stage or be part of the event or anything like that. I think, too, that I agree that there are people in communities and types of content that are set up for success and have been, too, for a while. And your whole thing was that you wanted to see more support for niche games, and it's some sort of equity essentially when it comes to that. And I totally agree with that too. The part where I have dissonance with this, as well as on YouTube or pretty much anything you can think of on the internet, is that if people don't come to it naturally, you have to make them give a shit. And which is fair also, but then there's like the third layer, right, where it's like people will funnel to these interests that have been pushed and supported for a very long time. So to what extent can you even control how much you make them care? There is a lot of kind of tug of war there. So I'm totally with you on like...
That's always been my struggle, right?
Yeah.
Is I just feel like I can't make people care.
And I think that's the crux of the matter.
Devastating for me.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
I think
there's more avenues I could try to make people care, but it's just, it feels like I feel like Sisyphus. And
well, this is what I will tell you, dude, is that I think that you misinterpret the scale to which you have made people care. Because I think that if you make at least one person care, that's one more person than cared the day before.
Oh yeah.
Right. And like, I think with that, it's like baby steps, right? Because things grow kind of on a curve, right? So even if you're here for an indefinite amount of time, these are things sort of like grief that you cannot put a time limit on. It just has to happen. right? You know, and I have to compare it to grief because that's like the thing that I can relate to it most with, basically.
Yeah.
But like I will tell you,
people in your life die. That sucks, bro. Anyway.
Well, grief comes in many forms. It can be from breakups. It can be from death. It can be from. That's fair. Yeah. People die. I don't know if you knew this.
It wasn't funny, but I thought it would be. So.
I mean, I laughed inside, but you know, yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
So,
inside laugh is outside silence. You know.
True. What I will tell you is that like you have made me take a second look at games that I might not have before, right? And I think that if you kind of lose yourself in the pool, so to speak, right, you're not going to appreciate like how far you swam in, essentially, you know?
And I think what's tough too, and this is such a me thing, but I've had this mentality for a long time where it's like, you know, because my diabetes was in a bad spot where it's like, I don't have much time left, so I need to get this shit done now.
Yep.
And like I'm in a lot healthier of a spot now, so I don't really have that time limit. But I basically, from when I started speedrunning till honestly a couple of years ago, I was at this point where I was like, I need to get this shit done because my time's running up, and I can't afford to wait on things like growth and change over time.
Yeah.
Right. But now I'm in a spot, and you know, there's a whole bunch of like habits and drawbacks and baggage that comes along with that. Right. And so now I'm at a point in my life where it's like I'm past the halfway point of my 20s, you know. It's getting to the point. Well, I'm just getting to the point where it's, you know, odds of survival go up the longer I survive. Right. So now I'm kind of in the process of trying to unlearn some of that, because
that
you know,
mentality,
in ways that mentality is what got me to where I am right now. Because I got so much speedrunning shit done. I got my master's degree while doing all that shit, right? But now I'm starting to feel the cost a little bit, and to kind of bring it back to why I brought it up in the first place is like that impatience of like, I just want to see the results now is kind of that, like, you know, it
is hedged further by something like a second submission
delayed
period.
gratification.
Yeah, delayed gratification.
Unfortunately,
I mean,
most people.
Well, and that's part of it, but I mean, I have other qualms with second submission. That's just like,
I mean,
I could go all fucking day about
we're
second
dealing
submission.
with one facet of this. We're not going to tackle the whole thing today. Yeah,
I think.
I mean, the other thing too. Go ahead.
No, go
ahead.
I've had my thing in my brain for a while. Go ahead.
That's fair. Well, I was going to say, when it comes to like relatability too with content, like I think that what Cole is saying, where you kind of have to find yourself as well, like through that, is what kind of needs to happen. Because I remember I was in therapy like years ago for a while, and there was a point where so the therapist that I was with was like licensed to do the sand stuff or whatever, where you like take objects and put it in sand and you can actually interpret like what somebody is thinking, basically, to like based on this. So she asked me to. It's sand basins.
Like some Avatar stuff, right?
That's
it's very fine grained sand stuff. Anyway,
I forgot the fucking camera thing. Sorry,
it's interesting.
I forget the actual name for it, but it is like a practice basically in therapy. It's one of those things that not just anybody does it. So it was something that she had to like go through classes on, as far as I'm aware. But basically, she said to like take objects from around the room that I felt represented my life, and then put them into the sand. So then like, and you can like play with the sand and everything while you think about stuff. And so I did all this, I put all this stuff, and I was like, yeah, so this thing represents like my interest with this, or this represents like the friends that I have all over the world. This represents this thing or whatever. And I go through all this stuff, and she goes, well, she looks at it for like 10 seconds and then goes, so where are you in this? And I hadn't actually taken anything off of the shelves that represented just me. It was like maybe facets of me, but there was no singular thing that was just like, oh yeah, here I am in the middle of all this. And so I had to look at her and go, I don't know. I don't know where I am in all this stuff surrounding me. So it is really a thing. Like the content can be something that you can find yourself through, but you eventually do have to find where you are.
Yeah.
I think also just another thing, just going back to what you said before, I feel like you also underestimate the impact that you have had in general.
Yeah.
Because I would
agree.
accredit a major reason why GDQ is having the shift to the smaller games, to the more niche games, heavily to you. Obviously, there's a lot of other people like you, like Cosmic, for example.
Cosmic, the games committee.
Well, the thing
hiring
is,
better people.
sure, all of that.
I'm not gonna say that.
But part of the part of the thing with the new hires is that you have influenced those new hires and shown them that, hey, there can be cool games in the rough, right?
I got
an
interview for that job too. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah,
you know?
and because they're in that position, they're like, oh, we could diversify, and you have proved to them that it can. With things like Pumpkin Jack, that shit went crazy. Who the fuck knows what Pumpkin Jack is? Everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot of people now because of you, right? Who knows Whiplash? Like those two are your major examples of, hey, there can be fire down in the rough. This flash fire, and so now GDQ's like, oh, maybe we should look for more of this, right? Obviously, there's other flash fires probably that's happened, but like I would credit a big part of that to you, right? And I think that. Even though that
that doesn't translate to viewership necessarily.
That's what
it's hard because I don't have concrete numbers. Yeah,
it doesn't translate back to you in any physical way, right? You're still like, a 10 to 15 viewer Andy, right? And it's just like you haven't really seen the growth, but also you go to a GDQ and every fucking person there is like, oh my God, is that Jaxler? Hey Jaxler, oh my God, Jaxler. And everyone knows who you are, right? And everyone knows what you're about and what you do. There's so many people, by the way, for anyone listening, that you'll just walk around GDQ and if you just say Jaxler's name, they know who he is and what he does, right? It's not even they know who he is. They know what he does, except
for like the Mario people.
well, but
do you really care about what the Mario people think?
The majority of the GDQ culture, though, knows what he does, right? Which is hard to get because, I think a lot of people know who Kai Cenat is. No one in this call, including me, really knows what that guy does.
Yeah,
we know bits and pieces, right? But people know that Jax is the guy that runs the underground games that you've never heard of that are really cool and swag, right? And so people will just come in just to see what he's doing in the practice room. They'll just drive by and be like, oh, hey, what you playing? What weird things you playing, right? And so it's like, but all that doesn't really translate into, oh, my stream numbers go up, I make money, right? And so I think that also kind of relates to your struggle with content, which is like, I think the first thing is that I think you need to figure out like what you want to watch, right? Because the thing about content is it's a very cliche saying, but you make what you want to watch, right? Yeah. And I think part of the issue here with like how you're thinking about this YouTube and TikTok and how like you don't like the algorithm or whatever the fuck, I think part of that is you don't really know what you want to create yet, right? And I think if you figure out what you want to create, you can find a way to make that either A, work with the algorithm, or B, ignore it completely and just do what you want to do anyway. Because there's a lot of people that just ignore the algorithm. For example, I like to watch just like, I've shown Cole this, but people just like one guy with a DSLR and they'll just film just like random shots and just stitch them together with some basic music. And it's just cool shots stitched together. It's not going to get a lot of views. Like the things I watch, they have like a couple hundred views, 1,000 views or whatever. But I find them really cool, right? I'm one of the few people that finds that really cool, right? And so even if you don't get a lot of numbers, you will find your little tiny group of people that will find what you do cool if you figure out a way to package whatever that may be, because I don't know what that is, right?
Perfect is the enemy of good, after all.
Yes. Yep.
Which I know is true, but I am a perfectionist, which is the problem.
We already talked about all the resets, man. We don't got to go over it again.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. This conversation can go on forever, but I guess just two quick final things for me, at least, is just one thing, because I heavily relate to me, like not seeing the impacts of your work
Yeah.
Sometimes I think people forget that the number 1 is a pretty substantial number, even compared to 1,000. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of desensitizing to see like a video of mine have like this many number of views, but then it's like
10,000 views, and then I look at the 10,000 views and I'm like, man, I wish I had 10,000 views. That would be sick.
No, I don't mean it like that at all. I don't mean it. No, I don't mean it like that at all. But it's weird to think that it's like that is 10,000. Hopefully, unless it's like bots or whatever, people with an identity, with a hopefully a home, with a heart and a soul and a mind, and that's them. Like, the impact that you can have on one person can still be incredibly substantial.
And it can also cause ripple effects as well, right? Because if you influence one person, you know, because maybe you only influence one of the GDQ staff members that your shit was cool, and then they influence the other GDQ staff members, for example, to stick on that.
And that's the other thing, though, is that sometimes you can keep looking farther ahead and you forget what's happening like now or what you've done.
I mean, shit, like, I even think about it with the Neopets community now, like, because like my whole thing was, you know, growing these speed game communities and making sure they were around when I was gone, because I didn't think I was going to be around all that long. And fucking look at the Neopets community right now. You've got like
Charles Celestial Che,
K-Cow still every now and again. Charles is still sciencing, you know, but also just people are in that server and they're friends. And, you know, I mean, shit, Shay submitted to Fatales, so please, audio listeners, please put in a spirit bomb for Celestial Che getting Neopets into Frost Fatales. That would be so fucking lit. I need it, please. But that's neither here nor there. Sorry, that was just I was just kind of yes-anding you there, but go ahead.
Basically the thing is that people can say things like, man, look at all this that you've done, and like, look at all your accomplishments, and look at all that stuff. And you know what I'll do? Whoop, go in through one ear and right out the other. Like, that shit, other people telling you doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is you understanding and telling the affirmations for yourself. That's something that I've started doing in this notebook. I'm going through a book right now called The Artist's Way, which is sort of trying to like help your creative mind or just like be more comfortable with your creative self. And I'm not advocating for the book or whatever. If you don't like this book, whatever, it's fine.
Hashtag sponsored.
You can advocate for the book.
I feel like cool. Anyway. But one of the big things is that you need to, something that I have been missing in my life is affirming to myself my accomplishments. Because there's always a growth mindset where it's like, okay, I could improve here. This is what I need to do. But you need to remember your roots. You need to remember where you came from. You need to remember what you've done to get to the spot that you are now. And nobody else is going to be able to tell you this or that. The only person who's going to be able to tell you that, and you're going to remember that, is you. And that's just it at the end of the day.
I think also a thing too is that just like, even just taking like with other people telling you like you did really good or whatever, it doesn't really matter unless you think that and you say that.
Yeah.
Right. And so you pretty much like, you have to slow down into what you're doing and then be like, okay, I liked what I did here. Like, for example, like I've liked a couple of videos that I've made for my work, right? I've made hundreds. I like a couple, right? But those couple I really like, and I'm like, I beat the brakes off of this one, right?
Yeah.
I think I did a pretty good job in the Scooby Doc. I don't think it was perfect, but I think for where I was at the time, it was really good because I was the first time I have ever completed a long form project over a span of multiple weeks. Before every single video, by the way, anyone, before the Scooby Doc, every single video that I made, if it was edited at all, it was edited in one sitting. I have never been able to edit over a span of multiple times, right? And so even looking back at the Scooby Doc, I'm still proud of that because of just where I was, right? And like, I still can slow down and be like, cool, I did that. Recently with the Fire Emblem run, I thought I did a very good job on that. I felt like that was a really good run, and I'm still like proud of that, right? And like you have to kind of slow down and like think about that, right? Because like for like first like week or two after that, I didn't really think about the run that much until I was like, all right, do you actually think it's good, or are you just gonna believe whatever else is saying to you? Because I'm sure you all know this, but I don't listen to anything that anyone ever says to me about what I do, especially compliments. True. Especially compliments, because I'm really bad at taking compliments, and I should probably work on that. But it has to come from
it's hard.
within.
I mean, guys don't get compliments a lot, so like you get them, and you're just like, wow, this
true.
is
You're not used to it.
Yeah, that's true.
We were talking about with freaking irony poisoning and like death to sincerity, where it's like, oh, what are you actually? You're saying this, but what is it that you want? What's the ulterior motive? Maybe I'm just projecting again.
And you can tell us what you truly want in the comments below, audio listeners and visual listeners. You both have comment sections, because on Spotify there is a comment section which you can leave comments on.
I did not know that.
Yeah, there is. So you should leave
now
one.
You know.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't know if that helps with metrics.
Be the first to comment on our Spotify.
Yeah, if you want me to stop trauma dumping on the podcast, please leave a comment below. I did not mean to derail shit, but here we are yet again.
I don't think it was a derail. I think it was just the rail.
Yeah,
so.
I think it was a rail, and we followed the rail. Does anyone?
If you're a fan of public transportation, like light rails and bullet trains, you should like and subscribe.
Truing.
I do it, so you should do it too.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is just a quick aside. I found out that I'm actually going to be doing commentary for Shenmue at GDQ, so I get to be on stage for like 3.5 hours. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Stuff and things. I'm going to make sure that I stream a little bit more this week. So stuff, yeah. You can find me at the socials and stuff, and that's about it for me.
Cole has a video coming out today, correct?
Today?
Yes, today. Yep. Hopefully. I'm very certain it will be. But I don't know, anything can happen, I guess.
That's my go.
So
that's true.
That is true.
Yeah, that's my go. And then I potentially am gonna be on Hotfix on Monday. Actually I don't know, because Anarchy, it was like, hey, you want to be on my show? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And that's all we for Hidden Heroes. The show will start at Monday at 10 p.m. And if I'm doing it, it'll probably be what we just got record in, which is Soul Reaver All Bosses. So
question, what is Hidden Heroes as a daily double? What is a Hidden Heroes as a show? Like, what's the concept?
So that show is like based around like platforming runners that are like minorities in like, for example, like Fatales, or my case, I'm a diabetic / asexual, so it's like
white male.
Anarchy once in a call jokingly had like a bunch of really funny names for originally like Diversity Dash or something like that, which is
godlike. Similar to pretty Diversity Quota, the name that should have been the name
Diversity
of our podcast.
Dash.
We missed the opportunity there.
Racism Run. I don't know.
Yeah. So close.
Racism Run was one I came up with, but anywho.
All right.
That might be happening, and then if you want to watch the record from Soul Reaver, that's on my YouTube now as well. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yippee.
There we go.
Sub hour soon, brother.
Sub hour soon, TM.
I'm doing nothing. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye forever.